Tony Abreu here with Perceptive Outdoors. In this video, I'm going to be doing a review on the ATN ABL 1000 laser rangefinder that connects to your scope by way of Bluetooth. So the ABL 1000 by ATN, it's a Bluetooth rangefinder that connects to your scope. It currently connects with the ATN X-Sight 4K, the ATN Thor 4. Also, it connects to the ATN X-Sight 2 HD and also the ATN Thor HD. So this thing is really cool. If you look here, it's actually a separate piece from the scope. I slid it on here and put it there. And then also, it has an on-off switch right here. It connects by Bluetooth, so you connect it first. I would recommend connecting it first completely before you do anything inside your scope and link them. And then basically you turn this on, little icon lights up inside your scope. And then in order to range something, you push the south button right there, and that will basically shoot the laser out, communicate with it. It'll bring it back in here and it'll tell you the distance that you just ranged. It has its own separate crosshair that's different from the crosshair here, but it shows up inside here, and then you put that crosshair on your target and it tells you the range of the target. So let's talk about, that's pretty much what this thing does. It has a link button right here so you can link it. That's something to do with pushing it twice, it'll connect. Generally for me, if I turn it on and it doesn't connect, I just turn it off and turn it back on until it does. This is the little battery port. It takes one CR2 battery. Now, for me, CR2 batteries, you can buy 2 at a time, but I actually found rechargeables, and you can find a link to those in the description below. Also, if you have one of these scopes and you don't have this, I'm going to highly recommend you getting one, because it's a complete game changer. Like, especially daytime stuff, you know, is fine, but because you can carry around your regular rangefinder, but at nighttime, this thing is priceless. I mean, it's so hard to judge distance at night anyways, and this thing is worth its weight in gold as far as like telling you ranges of stuff and, you know, giving you an idea where you're at in certain instances. So I totally recommend this. And it comes in it's the ABL 1000, but they also have another model that's the ABL 1500 or 1500. And this one will go to 1,000 yards, and the 1500 will go to 1,500 yards. So if you are interested in one of these, you can check the description below. There'll be a link down there. They range from under 300 to I think under 400. So worth its weight in gold. So let's talk about what it actually does. I already kind of talked about that for a little bit, but whenever you push the button here, and it tells this thing to shoot the laser out, and then it tells you to do it. So this is the button again. Couple things in the beginning when I first got this, the actual manual to install this unit said to install it on the front of the scope. And if you look on the scope here, this ring right here is actually, it moves. It is the focus ring. It's really hard, by the way. But and then these scopes also, for the daytime, they have a sunshade that comes out another 4 inches. And the original paperwork said to mount it up front here. But what that was doing was, a lot of people were putting it up there. And if you look inside here, you know, where the scope bells out to the bigger part of the diameter here, the scopes were actually breaking right there because there was so much pressure from this being out here, and it's pretty heavy. So they came out, and when I say they, I'm a member of a couple of Facebook groups that are ATN ran, and they recommended that you put it behind the focus ring. So that's where it's at now for me. Now, there are a couple companies. If you look here, there's a void right there, and I'm barely sitting on this little section right here that I'm clamped down to. There's a void here though. There's a couple companies that make filler pieces to put in there. that you can buy, and if you want to do that, that's fine. But for me, I didn't do that because I did a little something different, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So, and I'm not even sure if that filler would work in mine. But so what did I do different? Well, whenever you hit the range button here, you basically have to zero this scope to this thing so that it can put your little crosshair deal or whatever inside the scope to where the laser is here, so that you can move the scope, whether it's on a gun or not, you can move it to the spot where this is aiming, and then it gives you the range. So what I did different was, and this may or may not be for you, but for me, I didn't really like that. And I know that you can't do that on all of them. I know there's some other scopes that have rangefinders on them and they're different as well. But for me, I was able to take this, and it's really hard to do, by the way, but I took this and I basically zeroed this to my zeroed scope. Really hard to do. It took me like probably an hour to do it in the dark. Couldn't really see what I was doing, but I got it figured out. And basically, when you put this on, number one, it's not aimed in the middle of your scope. There's no way. It's going to be off. And generally, whenever I did it, it was down and to the left of my original crosshairs of my scope. So what I did to actually get it in the middle of where my crosshairs are is I took and I basically figured out where it was aiming, and then I took this back off and I put a piece of tape. And if you look real close right there, you can see a piece of tape. But what I did was I put, and that's electrical tape, I put electrical tape here and here to move the crosshairs from down here. What it did was it shimmed it and moved them up into the middle of where I'm aiming the original thing. So, and I actually had to do that 3 different times because I moved it and it came up a little bit, and I moved it again and it came up a little bit, and then the third time I put 3 pieces of tape on there, and now it's in the center of my crosshairs. Really cool. So now whenever I'm aimed at something, I don't have to move the scope. I just hit the button, it's already aimed right there, and it is good to go. Really cool, but really hard to do. Also, you might be asking yourself, you know, I wonder why he has it on top. Well, this unit can work here, here, here. It can work pretty much anywhere in this, you know, as long as it's not touching the gun. But for me, what I did, what I learned as from using this, is I had it on the side at first, and whenever I would hit the range button at nighttime, you can see the laser that it shoots out, and it'll tell it like it, that you can see that. And what it is, I'm gonna hold this way, but what it is it's in an oval shape. And when you have it on the side of the unit, it has an oval like this, and it's real long and skinny and going vertical. Well, being on the Facebook groups and doing the research that I did, I found this guy, and I can't remember his name, I apologize, but he actually was ranging beavers at like 300-400 yards with this thing. And he said that he moved his up, and what it did was, instead of having the oval vertical, which, by the way, I'm not sure where the laser is, if you had to put it in the middle or what, but it seems to me like if you're vertical, you have all this area right here that it's ranging. How does it know where the actual range is, right? So he said he put it on top, and it turned the oval this way, which gives you this little area that it ranges. So to me, it's a lot more precise going this way than it is this way. Now, I might be completely wrong on that, but I like that odds. I like the odds of that better, because I feel like, logically speaking, that's going to give you the best, you know, the best, more precise range turning it sideways, which means turning this up, straight up and down. So that's why I did it that way. It definitely, you know, it definitely works amazing. Most times whenever I range something at nighttime, I'll take a guess first, and then I'll actually range it, and I'll be way off, and you know, that's a big deal. So definitely a good thing. I recommend getting this. Those are just some of the problems that I had with it, or what are some of the issues that I've worked out myself with it. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a thumbs up, smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you have any questions about this model, or if there's something I didn't cover that you want to ask about, drop a comment below. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.